Welcome, Bastronauts. This is Teal's Bass Galaxy, an endless dimension of fishing legends and degenerates connecting through raw, real, in-person conversations and stories. No, this is not your average fishing podcast. There's no rules. There's no limits. 3, 2, 1, blast off. This podcast is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Teal's Bass Galaxy is now offering intergalactic merchandise. That's right, we got apparel now, baby. Check out our website. We got a variety of apparel, hats, bucket hats, sweatshirts, t-shirts, all the finest goods. So stop on our website, tealsbassgalaxy.com, click on the apparel tab, and start looking good, baby. Attention all Bastronauts. This podcast is supported by the Bass Galaxy's title sponsor, Waypoint Angler Supply, the Midwest's new landing pad for hardcore anglers just like you and me. If you're looking for the sneaky goods you can't find anywhere else, look no further. Waypoint Angler Supply has the largest offering of JDM tackle in the Midwest, and they are right here in Minnesota on Lake Minnetonka. This is truly a place every bass fisherman in Minnesota needs to visit because we finally have a tackle shop in the state that's as dreamy as the ones you find down south. And the staff at Waypoint Angler Supply understands the various needs of us anglers, which is why you'll find the selection there so enticing. Ross and the folks at Waypoint Angler Supply are passionate about carrying the right stuff, providing an authentic customer experience, and they listen to the anglers. And it doesn't end at JDM baits. They stock all the top U.S. brands, as well as local Minnesota brands like Vocelka Fishing and Customs, Arsenal Fishing, Bait Lab Custom Swim Baits, All Terrain Tackle, Bagley Northland, Outcast Tackle, and more. So stop into their store on Lake Minnetonka or visit their website, waypointanglersupply.com. That's waypointanglersupply.com. Use the code GALAXY2024 to save 20% on your next order at Waypoint. The Bass Galaxy is also supported by Vocelka Fishing and Customs, Supreme Lending Dream Team, Lake Country Insurance Services, My Wedge Motor Support, Supreme Lure Company, just north of Memphis, Barbecue and Catering. Thank you. Jared Lintner, it's a pleasure to have you.
What's up, dude?
Yeah, dude, we had a few beers last night at that Canes Ballroom, and it was just good chatting with you. I know you live in Georgia now, but my audience in Minnesota, they probably don't know your story. They just know that you have a hell of a mustache. So I guess I'd like to start, where'd you get started bass fishing and where'd you grow up and stuff?
Actually, so I was born in California, but then my parents and pretty much my dad's side of the family bought a fishing resort in Deer River, Minnesota. So
really?
When I went to school in Deer River Elementary School or whatever for 5, 6, 7 years. Lived on Sand Lake, and it was just kind of, south of Bemidji. Bemidji, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I got the fishing bug. And so we moved back and forth from California to Minnesota. And every time I left Minnesota, I was sad because California, there was so much, we didn't have a boat out there, and you had to pay to get into the lakes, and you had to do this and do this. So I look forward to going back to Minnesota pretty much we do. What was weird is we had the milk business, which I did that for 20-something years.
That's where the mustache came from,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And So each family would take a turn. They'd do a whole year, winter, summer, fall, spring, and then the next family would come in. So you're kind of on and off year to year. So that's pretty much, growing up in Minnesota, fishing bass wasn't even a thing, I'm sure you know that. Like, I cleaned fish at the fishing resort. That's how I made a little bit of money. And it was people come from all over, catch walleye and crappie. And bass, I didn't even know there was a bass in the lake until I went back a few years ago. Stayed in the house that my dad built, and so that it's still there. So it's pretty cool.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you went from cleaning walleyes, doing that northern cabin thing, like that's a Minnesota tradition, and now you're pro bass fisherman now.
Yeah.
So how did the bass fishing kind of get started for you then? Was that in Cali, or was that more so Minnesota where you
No, that was all California.
Sure.
So I played basketball. That's what I thought I was going to do, was go overseas and play some kind of semi-professionally or something like that.
Cool.
Met my wife now, and kind of didn't want to travel, didn't want to leave. So I went to a junior college, and I kind of was getting burnt out playing basketball. And this guy, one of my teammates, his dad was a fisherman, had a boat and everything. And I'm like, yeah, man. So basically I just picked it up right there. I got involved in a little bass club in Arroyo Grande, California, and Gold Coast Bassmasters. And, started learning how to bass fish, and had a couple of mentors that really, helped me learn. And I just took off. I kind of removed myself from the basketball thing because I was getting older, and realized I wasn't going to play in the NBA, and and I went full bore and just started at the club level, worked my way up to bigger team tournaments, stuff like that, and then eventually fished pro-ams, won a few of those, and then it just snowballed. It is one of those things, like, I get asked that question a lot, like, how do you get to where you're at? How do these guys, get to a pro level? Well, it's just nothing other than fishing. I mean, you can set a goal, but unless you're on the water, practice is perfect. You just got to spend time out there, and that's what I did. I pretty much every waking moment. I mentioned I was delivered milk, family business, so I was my own boss. If I wanted, springtime, right? So fish were biting in the afternoon, I would get up at 2 a.m, do my job, get off, and go fishing, like every day. If there was a big tournament or somewhere I wanted to go, Clear Lake, California, or the Delta, I'd work my tail off Monday through Wednesday, take 4 days off, and go fishing, and then come back, and so that helped a lot as well. But it's kind of weird to be sitting here talking to you about this, because that wasn't my intention. Like,
sure.
When I qualified for the Elite Series that year, my wife had actually, so you got an invitation, okay? So this is 2006, 5. So I won Clear Lake, got 3rd at Shasta, and got like 6th or 7th at the Delta. So I got Angler of the Year in the West, qualified for the Elites. They send you an invitation, and with that invitation comes like a deposit date, right? You have to pay your deposit so they can know who's fishing, and if you're not going to fish, hey, we're going to extend the invite to this guy or whatever.
Sure.
So I went to work, and I'm like, we can't afford to do this. It's a lot of money. We had just had our daughter and another kid on the way, and I'm like, there's no way. I've never even fished outside of Arizona at that time, I don't know anything about Sam Rayburn or Santee Cooper or, these lakes on the schedule. I'm like, dude, they're awesome, right? So I was like, I ain't going to do it. We can't do it.
This is unfamiliar water.
Yeah, well, it's just a whole
huge cost
dynamic. Yeah, huge cost. And like
elite.
I said, I've never fished outside of Arizona, and I've only fished in Arizona like once, prior to that. So my little world of where I fished and what I was comfortable with was right there in California around, a big trip for me was going to Clear Lake, which is 6 hours away from my house.
Sure.
So that whole idea of fishing a national circuit. I'm like, that would be awesome, but we just can't do it. I mean, so, and right around that time also is when Tackle Warehouse first started ramping up and getting their legs underneath them and all that. And I was kind of involved in that whole deal. And it was just a lot going on. So anyway, I get up that day of the deadline. I knew it, and I was kind of upset. To be honest with you, I was like, man, this sucks, man. I'm going to let this opportunity go, but whatever.
Oh, so you decided not to?
Yeah, I said, no, I'm not doing it. Well, I get home from work, and I'm kind of upset because, I'm kind of sad. Like, I let that opportunity slip away. My wife's like, no, I paid it.
What?
I'm like, what are you insane? Like, then I got mad at her because she just spent, I think the deposit was like $8,000 at the time or something.
What's your wife's name?
Carrie.
Carrie, you're a hell of a woman. Wow.
Yeah,
I hope to meet somebody like that
someday. So I was
someday.
like, how did you do, like, we can't do that. Like,
which kid did she sell?
Exactly. Yeah, I still don't know how she got that money.
Wow.
But, yeah, so then it was like, oh my gosh, this is really going to happen. And it just, somehow or another, I did it. And I really looked at that year as almost like a vacation, not a vacation, but like a bucket list deal. Like,
sure.
I got one opportunity to do this. And to be honest with you, I was pretty much going from tournament to tournament. If I didn't make a check, I'm like, dang, man, how am I going to afford to pay gas to get to the next event?
That's a high pressure vacation, just so you know.
Yeah, well, back then, we didn't have social media.
Right.
I don't even know that I had a cell phone. I probably did, like a flip phone or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, the sponsor deal, for me, I was just flying by the seat of my pants.
Yeah.
I had I think I had an old Lowrance, like one unit on my boat, like a little tiny thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. I didn't even turn it on, like ever. So, I mean, I was like,
I'll get lost.
Yeah, no. And I'm looking at these lakes. Like, our first one was at Lake Amistad. And I'm like,
fucker's huge.
I'm like, oh my gosh. They didn't even have a map, of the lake. But they had maps of like Santee. And I remember we went to Sam Rayburn that year. So I was having these paper maps. I'm driving down these lakes, papers flying around. Yeah. I got no electronics, and somehow or another I had a really good year. I think I finished 3rd or 4th in AOI that year. And
that is a damn good year.
Yeah, I mean, but I just went fishing. There was no, other than Skeet and John Murray, and I knew them just from fishing other pro-ams and stuff, and see them at Clear Lake or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like we roomed together or anything, but I just knew them.
They're West Coast guys.
Yeah, West Coast guys. Other than that, I knew nobody, so I stayed by myself, and I was just kind of like, no preconceived notions other than watching, the old Bob Cobb Bassmasters at Sam Rayburn or something, where guys are throwing spinner bait or something. I mean, other than that, I knew nothing, so I just went fishing. No electronics. It was crazy, and yeah, and I to this day it still blows me away that I'm still here. Like, yeah, because it wasn't. If you were to ask me when I was 18, hey, what are you going to be doing in 15 years? It wouldn't be fishing professionally. I promise you. It was not even
wasn't even blip on your radar.
No, not at all. So it's kind of weird.
That's crazy, man. And we were talking about it last night a little bit about how you would have people come to the Delta who hadn't been there before and do things their way and make it work. And you were telling me about how you did that, taking your style from Cali, and you're in this new world. Wife got you this ticket, and you were there to soak it up. And you did pretty well that first year, but that was not doing a 6XD like KVD told you to, or that wasn't doing, what you're supposed to do when you go to these lakes. So talk to me about that a little bit, because I think that's like there's a deeper nugget within that I think people can learn and benefit from.
Yeah, that's you're exactly right. So, and I catch myself on the side of this now that I'm going to say wherever, Gunnersville. Let's just say that. Gunnersville in the fall. Well, everybody, it's a frog deal. That's what you need to do, flip grass and throw a frog. And I love doing that. Mm-hmm. But if I didn't know that that's what you're supposed to do, like 20 years ago or whatever, and I went to Gunnersville, I'd probably throw a frog, but I'd do some other crazy stuff as well. Things that the local people or the people in the know would be like, are you insane? They ain't going to bite that. What are you doing over there? Like, why are you fishing in 30 feet? The fish don't live there. Yeah, they do. So, whether you're from Minnesota or California, every kind of region has their own nuance, right? Like, this is the deal over here, Mille Lacs. This is the only way you can catch smallmouth. Well, it's been proven time and time and time again. You get a guy from Florida, Scroggins shows up at Mille Lacs. He ain't catching the smallmouth the same way you're catching them.
Right.
So keeping that and sticking to what you know and what you're confident in, and it's almost better than trying to do what you're supposed to do.
Sure.
Because the fish haven't seen it, or they're not being presented those baits, or maybe not even the same style of bait that they see day in and day out. So it's really, really interesting. Yeah, and I was telling you last night, at Clear Lake, the first time the Bassmaster Elites went there, I know that lake inside and out. It's a phenomenal lake. Well, I think I got 6th or 7th in that tournament. Anyway, watching the TV show after the event and all that, and I'm like, what the heck are these guys even doing? Like, it blew my mind, the areas as well as the depths and some of the baits they were throwing, because nobody in my sector of friends and people I know that fish Clear Lake a bunch, they wouldn't even ever have thought even to stop there. You know what I mean? So So when you really look at it, a fish is a fish, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if a fish lives in wherever, New York or California. They have the same tendencies. Yes, the structure may be different. There's several factors that can be different, but a bass is a bass.
Yep.
So I try to remind myself of those early years when I didn't know what I know now.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to dumb it down, and my son, so he's getting into it. Jaden, he's 16 and he thinks he's Bill Dance.
Minus the blooper reels?
Yeah. And he's a big, like, he wants to look at the screen and forward facing, and I'm fighting that battle with him. And so he'll do that or whatever, and I'll be like, all right, that's it. I've had it. Turn everything off in the boat. Let's just fish. We catch them. You catch them. So I'm not one of these guys saying let's ban the forward-facing sonar, but I think too often, especially now with all the technology we have, guys think that unless you have 5 graphs and a $100,000 boat and this and this and that, you can't catch fish.
It's a tool, not a crutch.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And I think, like, for me, I'm very thankful that I grew up before internet, through dial-up, to today, because when I started fishing, I didn't have a graph either. So the guys who taught me how to fish and the guys who taught me and my time on the water, it was all instinct driven. It was all I didn't have that screen giving me feedback all day. So it makes it hard for me to adapt to that now, right? So I'm behind that curve, but I do think there's still something to be said about instinct, knowledge of patterns, time of year, and I think, I didn't want to get down the rabbit hole too far on the scope thing, but what I do want to dig into is like that year where you brought your style elsewhere, and I don't know you that well, so like talk to me about kind of your style then and what you brought outside of Cali that seemed to work for you, right?
Yeah.
And how that style's now evolved from there.
Well, so the region I lived in, we had 5 lakes. They were small lakes, but they all had totally different characteristics. So we had a little spotted bass lake, deep, kind of clear water. We had a little small, real small lake, Santa Margarita, full of grass, reeds, laydowns, kind of dirtier water, and some big fish. Then we had like a canyon lake, northern strain bass, little smallmouth stuff. Then we had another clear water deal, and I mean, so it was real diverse in those areas. So I learned to catch them from 5-pound line to 100-pound braid, you know, and you had to be good, especially in California. If you look at, you know, your Skeet, your Aaron Martins, your Ish, your several guys that come, Cody Meyer, Gary Klein.
Yeah.
You couldn't be a one-trick pony. You couldn't just, I'm just going to flip.
Yeah.
You'd get smoked. You might do good in one or two, but you can't go to this lake and then next tournament this lake and do the same thing. You had to be really versatile, right?
Sounds like Minnesota, kind of.
Yeah, it kind of is. And so learning all that, I wasn't afraid. Like, you know, I remember we went to Amistad, okay, first tournament. Water's gin clear, right? And everybody's like shying away from that kind of, except for the guys who are sight fishing. They're running up the creeks and up the rivers to find the dirtier water. I'm like, dude, at Lake Kachuma, you could see the bottom in 15 feet. I'm catching them on black and blue jig and 25-pound freaking Berkeley big game at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out of bushes that you set the hook and you see the fish flash.
Right.
So it didn't scare me to go, well, yeah, this is clear, but I don't have to run from it, you know. And
guy broke 3 off thinking he needed to lighten up his line and then ran up a creek.
Or they wouldn't even stop because it's too clear. So looking at it from that point of view, and then this was also the time when the drop shot, like it was big kind of in California.
Yep.
Out here, nobody even knew what it was.
Right.
So where was it at? I think it was Gunnersville that first year. I was like, man, you know, they're kind of doing their spawning thing. I mean, it was kind of pre-spawned, kind of spawned. Anyway, I started pitching around this drop shot, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was like 100 bites a day. Ooh. But everybody else, you know, throwing jerk baits and spinner bait, and we didn't have a chatterbait at that point. Mm-hmm. And they're catching a few, and I'm like, dude, they're mauling. So it was just taking what I was confident in California at the lakes that I grew up and just applying it out there.
Yeah.
And and what's interesting, what I was telling you, is now that I've been to these lakes several times, and if I didn't have a really good tournament then, you know, whatever, the last time I fished it, if I didn't win, I'd be like, okay, it's a crankbait lake. I got to throw a 6XD. And I find myself out there going, what am I doing? Like, this isn't. So the mental battle, and you'll hear that from tons of anglers.
I feel it myself, yeah.
Mentally, fishing, bass fishing is more mental than anything.
I agree 100%.
You know, and it's if you're not confident in what you're doing, you might as well, you know. And I find myself doing that. I'll be like, I just bought $300 worth of crap from Tackle Warehouse. I'm out here doing what I don't want to do because in the book it says that's what I should do. Stupid.
Yeah. Well,
it's dumb.
The best anglers, I feel, kind of write their own book in a sense in their head, and that's how you develop. The best anglers I know, they do things their way. They develop a set of fundamentals that works for them, and they can. It's almost like pro sports. Like you develop a muscle memory where you don't have to think about it, and that I think allows these guys to really hone in on their gut, which is a hard thing to do. But you know, so. You're a shallow power fisherman, yet your spectrum is wide where you know when you need to pick up something finesse.
Right.
So versatility was kind of something that you brought to the tour because there was a lot of what you would call, at that time, it was a specialist-dominated sport.
Yes.
And now we're seeing it's more generalist now.
Yep.
But you know, you had your Greg Hackneys, your Denny Browers, your Rick Clun, your KVD. They were specialists at something, and they didn't really
100%.
deviate from that.
100%.
So you came in, and you're like, flip a jig, pitch a drop shot,
Yep.
and you're doing the full spectrum.
Yeah.
Do you think that puts you at a disadvantage at all, or just purely that was something that helped you on tour? Because it's harder. People would say it's harder to win an event
Right.
without like full commitment, right?
Exactly. It's a blessing and a curse, 100%. Because rather than forcing the issue, especially in the in a 5-fish format, you can. You've heard it time and time and time again. A guy will win, a 3 or 4 day event. Dude, I only caught 23 fish the whole tournament. Well, if you don't. If he varied from that, whatever he's doing, say he's flipping a black and blue jig and laydowns. If he's like, well, I'm going to go, I'm going to go throw a shaky head until I get 3 or 4 fish, and then I'm going to go flip that, and then I'm going to go back to, fishing a brush pile in 13 feet. He wouldn't have got those key bites.
Right.
So sometimes, when things aren't going well, I'll be like, all right, I know I can catch him doing this. I need to go get a bite.
Right.
Whereas that might have been the window when you catch a 5, 6, 7, 8 pounder on a swim bait or a glide bait or something.
A double-edged sword.
So if you didn't have that versatility in your back pocket, you wouldn't even thought to do that.
Right.
Like Denny Brower and Biffle, you brought him up. Dude, they are going to find their bite. I've fished against both of them for many years. They put their boat in the water and they got one intention. That's to find where they want to go, where that flipping bite is at.
Yeah.
And they'll go to the end of the lake to find it.
Yeah.
They know where they're good at. They know what they want to do. And when they connect, they're going to win.
Yeah.
No doubt. But they're also really consistent fishermen as well.
Right.
But when it fell in their wheelhouse, you couldn't beat them. But they didn't check up. They didn't go, oh yeah, I'm going to run 30 miles over here, but oh, there's a bridge. I'm going to stop and throw a jig head or whatever.
Yeah.
No, they went straight for the juice every time because they didn't vary.
That's such a hard thing about like dissecting practice.
Yeah.
I think that is really hard because you get these little clues. Is it a fluke? Is it a pattern? Mm-hmm. You only have so much time.
Yep.
So do you keep that big mag draft in your hand because you get one bite every 2 hours on it?
See, that's the deal.
And are you burning your fish now because you're not getting enough? You're not whacking them on it.
Yeah,
and then
they've been called, like, I call them ghost fish because they lead you. Okay, so me and Jaden were at Lanier the other day. Mm-hmm. Fish, we're catching some spots, whatever, and pull into this one pocket, and I was like, man, we got to see if there's up on beds, whatever. I picked up a big old flipping jig, and there's a bunch of laydowns, and I just start, like, swimming it real quick because I'm, like, looking. Like a 6, 7 pounder eats it. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is the deal.
Yeah.
We ran 10 more pockets, never had a bite, never seen a fish.
Son of a...
That's a ghost fish.
Yeah, the decoy.
So if I was in practice for a tournament the next day, that would be in my head. Like,
oh, God.
Like, is that the deal? Like,
that big one can cost you the tournament.
Exactly.
If you keep running that.
Exactly. So it's like we were talking about it because Jaden's got a high school tournament there this weekend.
Okay.
And I was talking with him yesterday when I was driving here, and I was like, so what are you thinking? He's like, man, well, what do you think? Should I start where that big? I'm like, dude, there's a chance more might come in there, but there's also a chance you might not ever get a bite anywhere. I said, we ran 10 more pockets, the same thing around that same area, nothing.
Is there herring in Lanier?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a morning deal with them spots and that where it seems like that. I mean, if I were him, I would say, probably get a nice school of spotted bass going and then go kicker hunting when the sun comes out later, right?
Yeah, but it's 100%. Yeah, that's what I told him. But, I mean, he it's just funny because the way he's thinking is a lot of times what gets me in trouble. Those ghost fish.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been on.
Most tournament anglers and guides are not covered fully or properly. Most insurance policies don't cover exposure due to tournaments and guiding. Taking the chance of using the wrong insurance gives the insurance company an out when settling a claim. How will the insurance company know that you're fishing tournaments or guiding? Well, social media is their number one resource. And guess what? They use it. Lake Country Insurance offers one of the only products that can cover both tournament and guiding use in your vessel. Anglers don't seem to hesitate spending $50,000 to $100,000 for a boat. Why risk that large asset, all because you wanted to save a few extra shekels? Are you nuts? Call the folks at Lake Country Insurance today and make sure you have the proper coverage for your boat before the unexpected happens. Call 612-285-3113 today or visit their website, lcisagency.com. That's lcisagency.com. This podcast is brought to you by my compadre, my tournament partner, my brother, and the best rod builder above the Mason-Dixon line, Vocelka Fishing and Customs. Specializing in custom fishing rods. That's right. Hand-built fishing rods, custom-made and tailored how you want, whether it's by length, action, specific technique, balance, or anything you want. Anything. Vocelka Fishing and Customs can build it. Mr. Vocelka also has a wide variety of rods to choose from, which we've had a lot of fun with, perfecting and testing. The most unique and famous rod developed at Vocelka Fishing and Customs is his custom marabou hair jig rod. Have you thrown the old Canadian dinnerman, the Harry Gary, the fighter fly, the old thin Lizzie? If you have, then you know these little fluff balls can be hard to cast, especially at those key sizes as light as 1/16 of an ounce. Well, what if I told you you could cast that marabou jig 30 to 50% farther than you're casting it now? What if I told you you don't have to spook those shallow, skittish smallmouth? Well, with the custom hair jig rod from Vocelka Fishing and Customs, not only can you cast a lot further, but the way this rod loads up on a long cast is pure perfection. This balanced rod has the perfect backbone with a light action parabolic taper that keeps those fish pinned without breaking your line. Mr. Vocelka utilizes an 8-foot custom fly fishing blank converted to a spinning rod and couples it with premium guides leading up to custom fly guides that allow maximized casting distance and reduced line friction and blank slap, maximizing your overall performance, obviously. And we found this rod is not only perfect for marabou hair jigs, but for any light bait you need to cast far, including small swim baits, spy baits, and more. Any light bait you need to cast far, look no further than the Vocelka Fishing and Customs Hair Jig Special. So head on over to his website, vocelkafishing.com. That's VOCELKA fishing.com. And treat yourself to the custom hair jig rod or any custom rod you can dream up.
Some bites, what I call them bites, in California with big swim baits, where you're like, dude, if I get 3 bites, I'll win.
Yeah.
But if you don't get a bite, you don't weigh in anything,
right?
You know, so right. It's like it's a weird deal. But yeah, it's tournament fishing. Well, I mean, we could talk about it a little bit. That forward-facing sonar has pretty much proved to everybody, including myself, that we don't know anything about fish.
Yeah,
we didn't.
We suck.
I mean, they're more like a tuna than they are, you know. I always thought you had to be, you know, around structure for a bass to that's where they want to be. They want to be on a rock pile. They want to be in wood. They want to be in brush. They want to be under a dock. No, they want to be out in the middle of the stupid lake in 3 foot of water, 3 foot in the water column over 100 feet. It's like a tuna.
It is, but I noticed this with Mille Lacs. We've had this conversation too. Before smallmouth were allowed,
Right.
they didn't live deeper than 8 foot on Mille Lacs. Walleye guys would not catch them.
Really?
Yeah. And now, I think we as fishermen, we move fish too. Now, I'm not saying that we're the sole reason. I think there's food out there. There's reasons for them to be out there, but I also think they don't like getting hooked.
Right.
And if you think about where people have been putting their lures for 20, 30 years, it's on the rock pile. Yeah. It's on structures. Right. So do you think there's a human element to those fish being more roamy like that? Or is it like the herring will make them just do that, right? Or the bait will make them do that?
I mean, I've had many conversations with a lot of my buddies about this subject. I really think that there's a population of fish that have always lived out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be it wasn't too long ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, fall, whatever. Oh, man, the fish are suspended on bait. They're so hard to catch. You can't catch them. Oh, that's what everybody said.
Well, you can't. You got
that's
2D sonar. You can't see, it's playing slot machines.
Right.
Playing slot machines.
So I think there was a big group of fish that we never even, as fishermen, we never even took into consideration. I can't tell you how many times, I'd be wherever, Shasta Lake, whatever, idle into a creek or whatever, and I see some fish on my 2D. I'd be like, oh, they're stripers. They're salmon, trout out there. They ain't bass. They can't be. Oh, yeah, they were.
Crazy.
But, I don't think there's as many fish that live on the bank throughout the year. Of course, during the spawn, the majority of them are gonna go up there and do their deal. I think there's a bigger population that never comes to the bank than there is that lives on the bank, based on what's happened in the past 2 years now.
That's super interesting.
So I don't know. So when I went to California a couple weeks ago, a lake I've fished for my whole life. I grew up there fishing, Lopez Lake.
Yep.
It's a jig lake, it's a deep structure lake. Of course, I've catch them shallow, whatever. Went there, 10 days ago, whatever it was. You couldn't, there wasn't a fish near the bank.
Really?
No, not one.
That kind of
it blew me away. It totally, I'm like, what is happening? And here's what, in my opinion, and I've had this discussion with other guys. These fish that guys are catching now, they're those suspended fish.
Right.
Me and you, we ain't going to catch them. We can't catch them. They're just tough. You might catch one on jerkbait maybe, but you're not going to just throttle them like guys are now. Mm-hmm. Used to be kind of their safe haven out there. They never got bothered. Sanctuary. They never got caught. They're just out there eating bait, and they'll swim up to the bank. They'll go hang out in the lay down, and we'll flip a jig and catch one.
Yeah.
They've already been caught.
Yeah.
Now they're petrified going swimming up there. They're going, oh my gosh, I just got smoked out there. Here comes this big old chatterbait. I ain't gonna eat that stupid thing.
Right.
Whereas before they were out there, they never seen a bait. They come up here and they're like, dang, look at that green pumpkin chatterbait. I'm gonna smoke that. Look at that bluegill. No, I think they're so educated now.
I think so too.
That they're scared to death because they don't have that break.
Right.
That's my opinion.
I think that makes perfect sense. And I guess there's theories, right? There's theories that this is going to all come full circle, and all of a sudden, John Cox and Jared Lintner are going to be just smoking it on the bank, and they're going to be there before everybody else. And then there's other people who say that we got a long ways to go before it, and there's people that don't ever think it will.
So when all this first happened, and I'm not griping at forward-facing sonar. I think it's advancement in technology is good for everything. Has it changed the game? Yes. I mean, I got a Garmin Panoptix. I love it. I don't utilize it like I should, meaning, chasing these fish around out in the middle of the lake. I use it for like finding brush piles, grass lines, things like that. Of course, if I see a fish, I'll throw at it,
Yep.
But that being said, it's not, you can't just ban it, right? So
Yeah.
So when Denny Brower, Tommy Biffle, whatever, when the flipping thing came out and they were dominating all these tournaments, right? They didn't go, oh yeah, we're gonna ban that because nobody else is really catching them and you're too good at that. You can't do that.
No, you can't.
You either got to get on board with it or not.
That's how fishing works.
You
better be a liberal progressive when it
100%.
comes to bass fishing,
100%.
or else you're going to get left behind.
100%.
Yep.
So getting back to that deal of, will it turn around? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because I used to say that, 5, 6, 7 years ago, dude, pretty soon, all those fish, nobody's going to be, and dude, there isn't anybody on the banks. Like Jade and I, when we went to Lanier, there was probably, I don't know, a couple hundred boats, throughout the lake. There's a big tournament going on or something. There was nobody near a bank. Not one. Not even close. And I'm like,
that would tempt me to go.
Yeah. So you go up there and you're like, you kind of feel like you're doing something wrong. Like,
I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah. Like, people are probably like, well, look at that idiot. He's on the bank. He doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, it's almost like that.
It is, man.
It's crazy. And so I don't know. I'm hoping that eventually, it'll kind of even out. Kind of like the Alabama rig.
Yep.
When that came out, everybody said, dude, it's going to kill tournament fishing. It's going to wipe it out. I mean, California is a big hot topic.
Oh, yeah.
Different organizations were banning it and this and this and this. And for a couple of years, it was the deal, for sure. I mean, I've whacked them on it. Now it's like anything else. It's like a tool. They've gotten used to it. They've adjusted to it. And you ain't just going to pick it up and catch everything down a bank. I mean, you might catch one, maybe. So it's kind of evolved into more of a, like I said, anything else. A jig, spinnerbait, a chatterbait, it's a tool.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that this forward-facing sonar eventually is going to be like that. Like, yeah, it might win a tournament or something like that, one a year, 2 a year, something, but it's not going to be totally dominated. I mean, I don't know how the tournament is going out there in Grand today, but prior to today, every freaking tournament there's been, that forward-facing sonar has been a major player.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's like that first one time of year, I think is going to play into that.
Sure.
The fact that they sprayed as much grass on like Okeechobee, is going to open that up for those guys. But my curiosity is like, that shallow water trick, turn your sonar off and get more bites.
Yeah.
So there's something to that. And I think that's the unknown is, are you eventually going to need to turn it off? Because if you need to turn it off, then catch them suspenders, because they'll stick around because that pinging's not around. They're going to be just as hard to catch,
100%.
as they used to be, right?
Yeah.
So do you think there's something to the sonar pinging or signal?
Absolutely. So when I first moved to Georgia, right, live an hour away from Lanier. This is 3 years ago. So me and Jaden went up to Lanier, okay, forward-facing sonar or whatever, put it in there, dude, and you could shine that thing out there, and they could be from here to that wall, and you'd catch them. Like, they were dumb, like real dumb.
Yeah.
And it got kind of boring, to be honest with you. Now, like the other day when we went, you see one out there at 80 feet, you got like 2 seconds to hit him on the head, otherwise he's gone.
Damn.
Like, you scan around, and if there's two of them over here, and that sonar hits them, they gone.
So
like they've gotten.
Yeah, they start to sense the boat and the pinging.
100%.
And
They feel it. They got to.
it's almost like bow hunting now. It's more, Bob Downey and I were talking about this. To me, it's more like bow hunting than it's ever been with that scope, except your boat's moving versus you being stationary in a stand. But that deer, I don't deer hunt. So, if I speak out of turn, let me know. But
how do you not deer hunt? You live in Minnesota?
Dude, my dad doesn't hunt or fish. So I'm a one-trick pony. For me, I'd rather be...
Do you bear hunt?
Dude...
You don't do anything.
I bass fish.
You drink beer.
I'll drink. Yeah, you found that out last night. And I think about bass fishing, dude. It's an obsession for me.
Right.
So I would love to learn to hunt. It's just I never had anybody to teach me, and I spent all my time on the water and then having guys teach me how to bass fish. And I'm not the smartest feller, so I think it's something I'd like to get into someday because I think I've always wanted to.
Yeah.
I usually have somebody kill an extra one for me for freezer stuff, but maybe you can teach me how to hunt sometime.
Yeah.
No, dude, I love it,
Come to
man.
Georgia. Yeah.
But that deer hears you.
Yeah.
Spooked, gone. It's kind of like that. And if you don't hit that fish, just right, it's gone. It's deer hunting now.
It's really, really, really wild. Like, and you could see it like Bass Pro Tour when we were at Toledo Bend, the first one of the year. Those fish, I don't think, in my opinion, hadn't really been fished for like that. We were there in second week of February. It's world-renowned rattle trap, chatterbait, spinnerbait, flipping lake. Then when nobody in the top 10 even was close to a bank, those fish were psychotic on that thing.
Yeah,
I mean they were nuts. Like you've seen
the
results.
Pat
I mean they were just
them. Yeah.
So, but then you go to a place like I just said. You go to Lanier. Tournaments will still get one with it, but you're not your catch rate. You ain't gonna catch them as much as they did 3 years ago because they're getting used to all this.
Yeah. Well, there was people bitching about like watching live.
Oh yeah.
And at one point, I'm just like, so you'd rather watch Jason Christie catch 8 pounds going down the bank with a spinnerbait than Pat Schlapper busting a 30-pound sack on a jighead minnow? No, I want to see the guy who catches the sack and how he catches it, right? I don't want to see. Right. I don't want to see a guy casting at the bank all day either. Right. Like that's just as boring. Yeah. So it's like
you're gonna
can't have your cake and eat it too.
Right. People are. You can't make everybody happy.
Well, this is bass fishing. It's full of bitching, as you know.
There's so much drama in bass fishing. It's unbelievable. You know?
I think people could really take notes on this. So people need to know, how do you grow a mustache like that? Because there's not a lot of people that can pull that off, and it's an art form.
So I'll have to send you a picture. So this is when I was playing basketball in junior college, and I got on I was a streak shooter. Got on a little hot streak and was tearing it up, whatever. And so I just kept letting my beard grow, and I had a scraggly little mustache. Well, and I ended up doing really good for like months. Like I was tearing it up. And my dad had a mustache, so I basically, the day that, shouldn't even say this, but the day that basketball season ended, I never went back to school. And I shaved my mustache, and I went and delivered milk. Or I shaved my,
wow. You're my hero.
I mean, it was, started fishing.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, there's only a few mustaches on tour that command authority like that. Shaw Grigsby, is that
he's the OG.
Is he your mustache spirit animal?
Probably, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's probably the best crumb duster on tour.
It's pretty, pretty legit.
Do you think there's people trying that shouldn't be even in mustache world?
Yes, I won't name any names, but yes.
Okay. A lot of posers.
You could probably pick them out, yeah.
I got you. What's a clear sign of a bad mustache in your mind? What makes a good mustache?
Well, it's got to have the right consistency, right? You can't have this scraggly little whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be well groomed. Mm-hmm. But I'm getting a lot of white in here now, so that's a problem. So I told my wife,
salt and pepper,
I was like, I need to get some of that just for men stuff.
Come on.
I would never do that.
Don't do that to me.
No, I wouldn't.
You can be the silver fox. It'd be great.
Dang, I never thought about it like that.
New nickname.
Silver Fox.
The Silver
Maybe.
Fox.
Well, you got Randall Tharp, the Badger.
Honey Badger and the Silver Fox.
I like it.
I like it.
Randall's
too.
awesome, dude. So this past winter, we went to the C school deal, and we got our captain's license.
Okay.
So we're like, and my phone is Captain Randall. It's funny.
That's awesome. He seems like a great dude.
Him and Sarah are I got to know them the past few years. We roomed together last year. They're awesome people. But
I'm really excited.
He's won like a John Cox. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that Randall stands on his own.
For sure.
He does what he does, and he does not deviate from it.
Right.
Meaning, he's going to find his bite.
Mm-hmm. And he's coming to Leech Lake, and I'm excited.
Yes.
He's going to teach me something on Leech Lake,
100%.
and I bet he top 10s that thing with largemouth.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will. Mm-hmm. He will, because he'll figure it out. I mean, he's got some, I don't know if you've seen his new jigs. They're awesome.
Okay.
But anyway, he's got a couple colors I think would perfect for up there. But yeah, no, he's going to do what Randall does. Like, it doesn't matter. Like I said, I room with him, and we, getting rigged up for a term or whatever. He's very organized and very simple.
Yeah.
Meaning, I got too much crap going on. Like, every year I tell my wife, I'm getting rid of all this crap, this stuff. I mean, why do I have it? It just takes up space. I know what I want to throw, right? Like, if I went out to Grand Lake right now, me and you went out there, there's probably 4 lures, 4 baits I'd tie on.
Which ones?
A jig, a square bill, some sort of medium diamond crankbait, and a chatterbait, probably. Maybe a swim bait.
Not even a jig head minnow?
No, I would not. I wouldn't. So, that being said, why do I have 16 boxes of other crap that is just...
Because you had that one time, that one
exactly.
day
That's
where the light bulb just...
So, a perfect example of this, okay? So, I was in Florida, Kissimmee chain, I don't know, it's been 15 years plus. I mean, one of the first times I ever went there, right? Mm-hmm. And again, coming from California, never really been there, but whatever.
Yeah.
And at Clear Lake, I used to catch them on this D9 kind of jerkbait, crankbait thing. And I had this one gold one for whatever reason, right? So I tie this stupid thing on, and I throw it out there. I'm fishing the edge of a Kissimmee grass, and apparently there's a shell bed there, which I knew nothing about. I catch like a 12-pounder, okay? This is in practice for a tournament. I'm like, oh, my God. Well, it's the only bait I had.
Of course, the only one.
So I dig around. This is years ago. Calling my friends, in California. Oh, yeah. What's the name of that? Phil's Props or something. They had these baits. It was up in Redding, California.
Yeah.
Had these things shipped to freaking Florida. I paid I bought like 15 of these baits.
Yeah.
In this one color.
Yep.
They're still in my box. I've never caught another bass on one to this day.
I got like 10 of those stories.
It's like, what am I doing? And every time I'll look at that, like I'll open up the box and be like, I got to get rid of these. No, they're still there.
It's a confidence
I'm an
thing.
Idiot.
Well, dude, you'd have been a wreck in that tournament if you only had one. You'd be throwing it all wrong. Like, you wouldn't be you'd be throwing it.
Yeah,
like,
you know how many bass I weighed in that tournament on that crankbait?
I know.
None.
Many?
Not one.
Ghost fish.
I went punching and I wrecked them.
That works.
It was a freaking ghost fish.
That works too.
But that's the problem. Whereas, so a guy that has discipline,
yep.
like my friend Randall or several other guys are like this.
Disciplined folk.
They'd be like, yeah, that's stupid. Gone. Here, I'm going to give it to the kid down the street. No, not me. I fill up freaking boats, everything, and I end up throwing 2 things.
That Japanese stuff coming over here, man. I will say, it seems like there's one and not, there's like, you look at 10 lures and there's one
yep.
that's an absolute catcher, but there's 9 that yep. I can't make work, right?
I mean, when I'm sure you remember when Lucky Craft came over here, or was hit the States, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude,
Yeah.
those things are legit. Of course, you catch some on this, whatever, a ghost minnow color.
Yep.
But then you got to buy everything else, all the other colors, because you caught them good on that. But your confidence isn't in that other color. But you had to, it's a
Case
problem.
it's cloudy
I
tomorrow.
gotta tackle addiction. That's my problem.
Well, we're crackheads,
And I'm sponsored by Tackle Warehouse, so that that adds to the problem.
Yeah,
right?
I'm with you. I'm with you on Waypoint Angler Supply. If they had as much stock as Tackle Warehouse, I'd be even poorer. But they got the right stuff anyway. But
It's crazy. Well, and they know I have a problem. So my friends that work there, they'll be like, "Hey, man, check out this bait. It's going to come out at whatever. It's going to come out at ICAST." And they'll like tease me. They'll like send me one, and I'll be like, I got to have more.
Yeah, need at least 5.
They just terrorize me.
So I saw your boat last night.
Yeah.
And I am dying to know because there's a lot of Vexus knocked it out of the park with that VXS 20 in terms of being complementary to what they had previously run.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what boat did you run before that?
So VX20.
VX20s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the new one and then comparing it,
Yeah. Well, so I guess the number one difference is the storage. Okay.
Yeah.
So the VX, I was just talking about how much tackle I carry. That boat right there, I way overloaded it because you could.
Yeah.
Compartments were, I don't even know how deep they were, but they're insane, insane.
Yeah. Never ending.
So what they did with the VXS was pretty much just shrunk it, right?
Yep.
So what that did though was it still has the same running surface, but to me it's a lot more responsive. It's quicker, meaning. So with the VX, it wasn't the fastest boat.
Nope.
It's not the fastest boat, but it's one of the driest, most comfortable, best boats I've ever run in my life.
3-footers, it might be the fastest.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, so a story with that. So Lanier, my friend Barry and I, we fished a couple springs ago, and we were boat 150 something out. There's 300 boat tournament, and we were making a long run. And I don't know if you're familiar with Lanier, but at the top of the lake where we launch, it kind of winds around, is narrow. So, it's bad water, rough, right? So that day we take off, dude, and these, everybody's flying, and I'm passing everybody, right? Well, the next day it was flat glass, because we were out early, dude. And these boats are smoking by me. So in the rough water, even boat wakes, that thing will send it.
Yeah.
Okay, but so now getting to the VXS, it's a lot faster than the VX.
Same hull too.
Same
chisel.
And what's interesting about it is, so you and I could be on the front of that VXS, standing on the one side, and that boat does not move at all. The VXS, I think, or the VX, because it was taller.
Oh, you're standing higher.
It would kind of tip just a little bit. I mean, it wasn't bad, but that's really the two main differences.
Wow.
Is the storage.
Yep.
The cockpit area is still a lot of room.
Yep.
The guys at Tackle Warehouse were filming actually starting this week some videos. They love it because of the amount of room. Because a lot of boats, I'm a big guy, and some of the boats I get in, I'm like, dude, I can't even.
You are a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't even move in here.
Yeah.
But besides that, they added some other features. The console's different. They got that new reflex.
Yep.
Yeah, they did a really good job. So there was people like, man, it's a slow boat. I got to go fast. Well, I've never caught a fish at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
70 miles an hour. Never caught one.
Right.
So, and especially the older I get, I was one of those guys when I was young. Oh, dude, I had a 461 Ranger with a 175 that I had tricked out, and that thing would roll like.
You had a fast Ranger?
Oh yeah, that thing. I had it all dialed in. Different props for different elevations. I was all into it, right?
Yep.
Now I wouldn't even get in that boat. Like speed to me does nothing anymore.
And that makes sense, you know.
But yeah. But for some guys, I can see it. You know, I mean, you spend a lot of money. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into.
Well, you told me a number last night, loaded, that was pretty mind-blowing to me. And was that a beer number, or was that real?
No, that's real. 70, 73.
70 to 73 loaded down.
Yeah.
And I guess you told me it's a hell of a lot faster. It's been confirmed. Aliens from another planet have landed on Earth. Sources say there's been 2 confirmed landing points for these extraterrestrial beings, one being Japan, and also, unexpectedly, in Minnesota at Waypoint Angler Supply, a local tackle shop on Lake Minnetonka. With the ever-expanding universe, it's no surprise that there are other planets out there that also share our love for the sport of bass fishing. And to Earth's surprise, this latest visit came from extraterrestrial fishermen light years away and many innovations ahead when it comes to fishing equipment. Some hypothesize these beings came from the planet of Naboo, matching up with Mayan folklore dating back thousands of years with fishing equipment ahead of their time. It has been confirmed they left things never seen before by an Earth-born bass. Waypoint Angler Supply is the premier space station in the bass galaxy and has tackle that could previously only be found in Japan or the planet of Naboo. The Waypoint ship is full, but we don't know when the Bassastronauts from Naboo will be back. So hurry in to Waypoint Angler Supply today and stock up on that Area 51 Planet of Naboo JDM good before your buddy is whooping that sweet ass of yours. Stop into their store on Lake Minnetonka or visit their website, waypointanglersupply.com. That's waypointanglersupply.com. Use the code GALAXY2024 to save 20% on your next order at Waypoint.
Supreme Lure Co. introduces a revolution in bass fishing with our triumphant trio, the Supreme Slug, Lil Slug, and Slaw. Leading the charge is the Supreme Slug, a legend revived after 2 decades. Its unique shape and built-in hook slot redefine tactical brilliance on the water, giving you an edge like never before. But the saga continues with the Lil Slug, a miniature powerhouse that mirrors the majesty of the Supreme Slug. Don't let its size fool you. It packs the punch needed to lure in those elusive bass. And for the ultimate bass feast, there's the Slaw, a craw representation with the same irresistible characteristics as the Supreme Slug. It's bass seduction at its finest, designed to trigger predatory instincts. Exclusively crafted for bass enthusiasts, Supreme Lure Co. brings you a trio that's not just baits, they're bass magnets. Supreme Lure Co. Cast in gold, reel in glory.
If you pull some weight out, which is cool.
Yeah, so when I originally got the boat, right, went to the lake to break it in, I had nothing in it. And I'm like, after the initial 2 hours, whatever it was, I opened it up and I'm like, it's kind of scared me. Like, because on flat water, you have to drive it. It'll chine walk, right?
I like that.
But if you get a little chop, you can let go of the wheel and it's rolling. So what I've learned to do is, so in the VX, it didn't matter as much.
No, you can take your hands off and drive itself.
Right. But so the weight distribution in a VX, you could have whatever, wherever. It doesn't matter. In the VXS, if you put, say, your terminal tackle, all your weights and your jigs and your whatever, your heavier stuff in the nose,
ain't gonna run as good.
It ain't gonna run.
Yeah, it's all about lift,
it'll
right?
run, but yeah. So you get that weight in the back, and of course I got lithium batteries, the Pro Guide stuff, and dude, that thing, yeah. You get that bow lift, and it'll roll.
I'm super excited.
And you still got the air ride seats, so which is a blessing and a curse. So when I first got into Vexus, 3-4 years ago, I got my first VX, and for years, you'd be you'd see a boat wake coming, and you'd be like, okay, getting ready because you got to approach it right, and you're gonna take that hard hit. Well, after 6 months of being in a Vexus, I'm like, dude, you don't even have to slow down. You can get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, you almost feel a little too cocky in it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, you're like, I don't have to back out of this. What are you doing? And the next thing you know, you're like doing something that you probably shouldn't be.
Right. I mean, if a Vexus breaks, it's because the guy wasn't braking when he was driving it.
100%.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I'm just super impressed with that company, and you've been with these guys for a while. The fit and finish, just the attention to detail and the story behind all of that, to me, is some of the coolest stuff. How long have you been with that group?
Man, so like I said, originally when I first qualified for the elites, so 2005. So prior to that, it was 2000. I got to know several of the guys. Keith, he was West Coast rep at the time, worked for
Trip.
Yeah.
And
we became friends. I've known him. Got to meet all the good people at Ranger over there, and so I've known these guys for 25 years, 20 years. Yeah. So great group of guys. I mean, and what they, a lot of people say, oh yeah, our goal is we take pride in what we build or whatever, whether it's a jig or a fishing rod or whatever. These guys actually do. Like, they are like almost obsessed. When the VXS was like in the works, I get like random calls like, what do you think about this? I'm like, dude, it's like Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. What are you talking about? What?
It's my favorite.
Like, why?
Yeah. Well, they're passionate about it.
Exactly.
Most people are passionate about their pocketbook, and that's it.
Exactly.
In this boat business.
100%.
I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's super crazy. Like, Bass Pro buys them. Very different business philosophies, right? And I guess you're a little bit more on the inside than me. Can you speak about that transition and I guess how that went down and what you noticed with pros here, pros there? I
mean, the whole over the past I don't know, what has it been? 8-9 years
flies,
probably?
Yeah.
Has it been that long already?
Yeah. To where I think, kind of like the Kennedy assassination, we can kind of talk about it now, right?
Yeah. No, it was really strange because basically, it happens. It's happening right now with bait companies, right? Mm-hmm. You had these standalone business that built really quality stuff, whether it's a boat, whatever it is, and they get consumed by the corporate. Okay. And in doing so, it changes the whole dynamic of everything, from the quality of the product to the mindset of, pro staff or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And if you're not one of those guys that wants to play the game, then you kind of get shuffled around. You get moved out. And I'm not saying anything bad.
No, you're just speaking honestly here.
Yeah, and some people got actually fired, and other people were like, "Look, I don't like this situation," and they move on. Mm-hmm. I mean, so it's happening right now. The lure companies and bait companies I'm talking about, they're getting, everybody's just
private equity, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's no different.
Ranger ain't Ranger anymore.
You get into that whole thing, and something's got to give.
Right.
Right. There's too many fingers doing too many different things to make it what it was.
And I don't even know if they know it, but I almost feel like they're opening the door for specialty baits. Handmade specialty lures is more in demand than your run-of-the-mill stuff now.
Right.
And it sells better. That stuff that's scarce or in demand.
Right.
And boats, there's only one company I'm aware of that's really pushing that, and that's Vexus. Mm-hmm. But super interesting. The business side, I think there's a lot of people that just don't understand what a shit show the marine industry and all of that is. It's a really weird business, man.
The whole fishing industry is in the past 10 years or so has been totally shaken up.
Yeah.
Like, now we're got the forward-facing sonar debate, but it seems like more than ever right now, it's just like a total, just everything's just up in the air with everything.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what's going on, whether you're fishing the Bass Pro Tour or the Elites or the Opens. I mean, there's so much drama in all phases, not just the boat companies, not just the rod and reels, not just the whole thing.
Yeah.
But we're all like a bunch of crackheads and we can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't going anywhere.
No, I'll still fish. I know the payouts are worse. I know the entry fee's higher,
exactly.
but I'm still fishing. Yep.
Exactly.
Here we are.
We got to have it. There's no other way to.
They've figured out how dumb we are.
Exactly.
Financially.
Yeah, no, that's the other thing is Jaden and I watch YouTube old Bassmasters and FLWs, whatever.
Yeah.
And 20 years ago, we were fishing for the same money as we are right now.
Oh my, yeah.
And there was less entry fee. I remember I was paying $1,500 to fish for $100,000. Now you're paying $6,000 to fish for $100,000.
And
how's that work? I'm asking you.
I don't know the answer. I think life has more questions than answers, but all I can think about is they figured out how dumb we are. Oh, yeah, dude, you got the answers? I'll listen. I don't have the answers. All I can think of, though, is figured out how dumb we are.
Yeah.
The infrastructure has risen. I think the cost of running these tournaments with media and the internet and that crew.
Yeah.
So I can get on that argument. And less sponsor dollars is really the only three things that I can think of that would make that the case. But I don't understand it because I don't understand why we can't be like golf or why you can't. It's a growing sport. The sport's big enough.
The problem is that there's two main problems. We're not a spectator sport. That's number one.
Yeah.
Other than things like this, the Classic, where they're gonna have a big audience in the stadium or whatever. You don't have 10,000 people on the bank over there, following people around. It's not going to happen.
But
okay,
yep.
Well, I know where you're going.
Yep.
And the problem is us as anglers, okay, the tournament anglers, whether you're at a club level or at a professional level, whatever, we don't ever stand together and go, hey, we're not doing this. Like,
Anglers
are you insane?
Council. Yeah.
Like why are we paying this much to fish for this much? We're not going to show up unless this changes.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have a tournament, which means you don't get paid by the sponsors that sponsor the TV show or what have you. So unless something happens, but we'll never do that.
The NHL had a lockout season.
That's what I'm
because the
saying.
Players got together and went on strike.
That'll never happen with bass fishing.
I mean,
never.
Why can't it? You've got the mustache, and we just need to get a gavel in your hand and hold court.
Here's the problem. The problem is that everybody's situation is different. Okay, and so you might be over here going, man, I don't have a problem. I got this going on. I got these sponsors. Life's great. The guy standing right next to you is going, this is ridiculous. What are we doing? Like, he's looking at it more objective. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you two guys are never going to agree. Not saying you're wrong or he's wrong or right.
Right.
But you can't ever get the majority of the anglers to go, we ain't doing it. I remember a tournament we had at, where was it? Green Bay? I think it was Green Bay. And we're all like, we ain't going. Anyway, all of us, every one of us, everybody's texting, yeah, we're putting on the bank. Nobody show up tomorrow. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody.
Like the lead series?
Yeah. It's everybody, oh yeah, we ain't going. We're not doing this. We're putting our foot down. put it on the bank. Guess how many people showed up?
All of them.
Every single one of us idiots. Because all it took was one guy to get to the ramp. He texted another guy, and then all of a sudden we're all there.
That's crazy.
I mean, you can't. Yeah, that's the problem. And I'm not griping, dude. I love my job.
Yep.
You know, the platforms that all the leagues provide is why I have a job. It's why a lot of us have jobs. You know,
I have a job.
Yeah. So I mean, I just wish it could be better. Like I'm looking at it because I'm towards the end of my career, but I'm looking at it for like Jaden and his friends and these high school and college kids that I know, and I'm like, man, what do we? I don't know that I would be as into it now. It feels like I've been beat down over the years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like any job, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, though, I think the way to change it would be as a viewer. If I could pick which angler I wanted to watch and put them in different boxes. So all we have to do is figure out a way to get a camera in every boat.
It's already been done.
What do you mean?
It's already been done.
I can't choose. I want to watch.
No. The technology is there, and we have tried this, and it works.
Where that is what I want to do. I want to watch you,
right?
You know, chuck a jackal, whatever, down the bank, right. And then I want to watch Brett Height. Then I want to watch two scopers, and I want to see how it unfolds through the day.
Right.
You know?
So right now, there's this big, I'd say kind of an initiative, because of technology. You can live stream now, right?
Yeah.
So I can live stream wherever I'm at fishing. I think you have to pay what? So like $80 or $60. It's like one-time fee for YouTube or something. I forget what it is. Our GoPro app, something like that.
Yeah.
And I can invite you to watch me.
Yeah.
The problem is, and here's the problem. And I'm not sure, I'm not going to mention any leagues, but let's just say they don't want that. They're trying to tell us we can't do that because they want
their sponsors.
They want their recordings. And so they can sell a sponsor, you know what I mean?
I see that, but I don't see why. Okay, let's take Bassmaster Live, for example. Mm-hmm. Let's say you can have up to 4, the quad box or whatever.
Sure.
Up to 4. Maybe one of them's always fixed on their program, right? And then you just fill in the other 3 with what you want. I don't see how that doesn't make everybody happy, but what it does is it pushes the sport forward.
Yes.
That allows anglers to have a platform to get paid and make a living,
100%.
Which is what we need, man. That's what we need.
100%, I agree.
For Jaden, for Jared,
100%.
For that mustache, for everybody.
100%, I agree. No, I mean, it's the technology's there. And there's been a few guys so far this year that have done it successfully. There's a few hiccups here and there as far as,
always be
power or what have you, connection. But it's right there.
My eyes would be glued. I would, as a viewer, if I can choose who I want to see fish.
Right.
That's fun now. Now we're watching golf if you're into that, right?
100%. Yes, I agree. And
that's how you elevate payouts, sponsor dollars, everything.
Yep.
How do those people not see that?
I don't know.
They're not that dumb, are they? There's a bigger picture here that is. Well, for the greedy guy up top, this is the golden goose. So that's the golden goose.
I don't see the repercussion. So some friends of mine and I were talking about this. What if we just did it? What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Throw us out of the tournament?
I would do. Yeah. Good point.
Fine us? What are they going to do?
It sounds like they like to do that a little bit.
Yeah, they'll probably fine us.
Watson. What? You can get fined just for talking.
I'll probably get fined.
Well, let me know, and I'll check this pretty low budget podcast. So, but we could start a fundraiser to help you with your fine, and I would be honored to do that.
like you said, growing the sport, and elevating the whole thing, I think that would be a big step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do it. And there's even talks of like, well, what if the league had, these leagues had that platform? Okay, hey, you guys can pay 99 cents and you can watch this guy or this guy.
People will pay money for that.
Exactly.
I'll pay you if they come out with that next year. I'll pay you $30 a month. Whoever that greedy guy at the top is, I'll pay him $30 a month to watch it.
Yeah.
Everybody will.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They could just make that not free, and I think they would get just as many people, if not more,
Right.
viewing.
That's what I think.
$30 times whatever their viewership is, times 12.
Right.
It's not a bad number. That accounts for anything they're concerned about.
Right.
And then I bet it increases over the 3-year span. But
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's
look at all we just solved. I mean, we solved we solved all the problems in this industry just right here.
well, we have good ideas.
It looks good on paper.
The execution of those ideas is another.
That's what it comes down to.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, I guess, is there any, like, little off subject of fishing? Are you a movie guy, a music guy? Everybody's got something, right? Anything or?
I mean, I don't know. So moving to Georgia, from California. So California, kind of small neighborhood, houses stacked on top of each other. And now I got some acreage, and I'm kind of out on my. People aren't looking over my fence. I don't even have a fence. So I spend a lot of time outside now.
Love that.
Like just the other day before I came here, I didn't like these holly bushes. My wife didn't like them, so I dug up the whole dang thing. I mean,
What's a holly bush?
oh, they suck, man. They're horrible. They
Sounds
attract
like a Christmas
mosquitoes
bush. Okay.
and bees, and they're right by my deck. And
you can't have
so
that.
anyway, I'll just find random stuff to do. Like a couple weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I don't like those trees out there. I just got my chainsaw and cut them down.
Okay, so you're a handyman.
Yeah, no, I like doing that. I'd rather do that than look at my phone all day, or something.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But no, we'll my wife and I will. Our kids so I have my daughter's 25 and my son just turned 22 on 2 days ago. Anyway, they'll send us like hey, you guys should watch this whatever Netflix show, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we'll watch like one, and then we'll just binge the whole dang thing.
That's the problem with that.
Like I'm like, what the heck? So
Which one?
Here's a random one.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine tells me about this show, Shameless. Have you seen this?
That is a good show.
So I'm like,
It's
Shameless, what?
It's the craziest show I've ever
we watched
seen.
one, and we didn't get off the couch for like 3 days, it seemed like, because we couldn't stop watching it. And we're
Gotcha.
only on season like 4 or something. There's like, 20 seasons or something stupid?
It's such a bizarre way of
It's
living that I just can't get enough of it.
Carrie
right?
and I say that every, we'll be done watching it or whatever, and we'll be like, there's no way people actually live and survive like that. It can't.
What's crazy?
But
is
they do.
Like, for us, the
It's
appeal
so
of that
bizarre.
show is the bizarreness, but
Yes.
there is probably 1 million people that live every day
It's organized chaos.
like that.
Yeah.
Like that dad. Oh my God, what a train wreck that guy is.
See, I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
But so we'll do that, and I mean, other than fishing, and what's really cool, Jaden, is everything is new to him. I mean, he loves fishing; he always has. But what's really interesting, and I think some of your viewers might really take something from this, because I've learned a lot from fishing with him.
Yeah.
Because I'm so stuck in my ways, or the way, my ideas.
Yep.
Because I've always, I'm pretty much a self-employed.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm out on the water, I don't have a guy going, hey, We need to go there. It's all on me, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be out fishing. I'll be like, Dad, let's go over there and throw this. I'm like, dude, that ain't going to work, man. What are you insane? Like, no, we're not doing that. Come on. All right, fine. So I'll get pissed. And this has happened several times. Oh, fine. Go. Let's go. I'll drive him over there. Well, now he could drive. So he'll drive over there. He'll catch him. Now I'm like, what? So my ideas, because he doesn't have the history of like going, I'm throwing this chartreuse spinnerbait on a gravel do-nothing bank with nothing on it. Like, why would the fish ain't going to bite that.
He doesn't have limiting beliefs.
Exactly.
You know?
That's the right word, yes.
Wide open.
So everything is fresh to him. And it's helped me, learn and kind of keep more of an open mind.
Sure.
Because I get stuck in my ways. And I think we all do.
Yeah, we all do, yeah.
I mean, he's done it time and time and time again.
So now you don't get pissed anymore? You're like, now you're asking him, so where are we going?
Yeah, no. So we fished a tournament at Lake Sinclair this past weekend.
Yep. Okay.
And we're fishing, and it's not, we're catching a few, but I'm like, we're missing something. I go, dude, what are you thinking? He's like, man, he's like, they should be spawning. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And we're kind of talking through this. And anyway, we caught 10.5 pounds or something. Took 19 to win. And the guys that end up winning, I kind of know them a little bit, getting to know kind of everybody. And all those lakes are so brand new to me. Like,
right.
It's crazy. They caught them on a swim jig in the grass. And what was interesting about that is we came around one section on a seawall, and there's a little bit of grass. Well, Jaden goes, I'm going to throw my frog. All right, whatever. He catches like a 2-pounder. And both of us were like, was that a ghost fish? We never even threw out grass the rest of the day.
Oh.
Because we lost a big one,
Yep.
He did, on a topwater bait on a seawall, like a big one, and we were catching other fish. So anyway, make a long story short, we together didn't clue that in.
Yeah.
But like I said, so, in California where I grew up, I could go like right now, it's overcast, it's this, we're going to go over here and we're going to catch them. I knew them like that.
Yeah,
It was pretty
You're
stupid.
intimate with that.
These lakes, they're all new. Like every time I go to Sinclair or Oconee, those are two bigger lakes by my house, I'll fish somewhere I've never fished, like intentionally. I'm going to go check out this.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Right.
So it's fun to be in the boat with him because he like, instead of me doing my same old stuff, we're kind of learning these lakes together, and I'm seeing things that I would normally not ever do. But he's like, no, we'll do it.
What's an example of that? Like, what's something that his mind was open to that you're like, that's not going to work. What was that?
So I was his boat captain in a high school tournament. This last year. So we go to West Point, and even before, he's done some weird things. No, I say weird things. So we're at West Point Lake. Fishing's not that good. It's tough. It's like February. I mean, it was cold, nasty.
Yep.
And I hadn't been to West Point in 15 years, so I didn't know what was going on. And we're out there fishing, and I can't fish. He's fishing, and he starts catching these little spotted bass, him and his partner. And I catch him on a pink robo worm, plumberry. It's a great color.
Noted.
Really good color. Huh. Anyway, he's
Plumberry.
catching these fish, and they get to like 9 pounds, right? And he looks at me and he goes, all right, I'm done. I go, what? And I just sit there like this. And what's cool is that he was live scoping actually. So I turned my graph on so I could see the live scope on my, I'm sitting in the. So anyway, I'm watching him cast at these fish. He goes, yeah, I'm done. I go, okay, what does that mean? I'm tired of this. We're not going to win doing this. Not going to qualify doing this. We got to go. I go, where do you want to go? I want to go throw a frog. I'm like, okay. It's like 52-degree water temp, and the lake is gin clear, and there's nothing on the bank. Just let's go to the back of this creek. And we were out on this point thing. I said, fine, whatever. I'm like, whatever, dude. If that's what you want to do, whatever. You're catching fish out here. I go back in there. There's one freaking laydown. He bombs a frog over there, catches a 4-pounder. Qualifies for nationals and goes up to nationals and gets a top 10.
Wow.
And
that's a cool story.
Yeah, I'm like, I told him, I'm like, I would have never
done that.
Even thought about that.
That's a gut shot straight draw. Not even a straight draw.
I was like, if I would have gone maybe up to some.
As anglers, we develop special bonds with our equipment. There's something magical when you find that perfect jig rod and reel combo for a technique that elevates your confidence on the water. Whether it's a perfectly balanced, crisp, and sensitive jig rod that gives you the highest level of control over your bait, allows you to feel every grain of sand, every bite, and allows you to drive that hook clean, or a rod with the perfect action and taper that seems to keep your chatterbait, swim bait, or whatever it is in the back of the bass's head where it belongs no matter where you throw it, or a rod that allows you to effortlessly cast a lighter bait you used to cuss at on your old combo. These types of magical bonds are rare to find in a mass-produced sweatshop, which is why Vocelka Fishing and Customs came to existence, with the sole purpose of bringing you closer to your passion by enhancing the bond with you, your rod, and the bass. Confidence is everything in bass fishing, and there's no bigger boner buster than losing a big fish, not feeling like you can present your bait correctly. The list goes on and on. Mr. Vocelka is a full-blown artesian craftsman who can build you the perfect rod, no matter the size or action, custom, exactly the way you want it. He also has a wide variety to choose from right on his website, including fan favorites like the 8-foot hair jig rod, the drop shot rod, swim bait rod, the chatter chicken rod, the MH workhorse, and more. Even ice fishing. You do the whole frozen Swiss cheese thing, the ice fishing. Seen grumpy old men? Well, you can send that jiggle stick back to the antique store because Mr. Vocelka builds custom ice rods in all sizes and actions too. So head on over to his website, vocelkafishing.com. That's VOCELKA fishing.com to enhance your confidence on the water, feel your passion, and catch more bass, baby.
Do you trailer your big outboard? Then you need the MyWedge motor support. MyWedge keeps even the heaviest motors safe and secure on the trailer. And talk about easy. Up with the motor, on with the MyWedge, back down, ready to roll. And MyWedge is built to last. It won't rot, it won't split, it won't fail. Guaranteed. Pop on MyWedge centering clips for lateral stability and you're good to go. MyWedge, security in a snap. To order yours, go to mywedge.com.
The river where the water is a little darker and a little warmer water, you know, we were down by the dam. Nobody on that lake is going to catch that fish other than him. And I'm like, what? I mean, I'm not making fun of him. It just blew me away that.
I'm so impressed with stuff like that.
Yeah, I was like, dang, dude.
So there was something in his gut because logic doesn't bring you there. Logic doesn't bring you there.
Not at all.
There's something internally that's. I'm talking to that Easton Fothergill kid who's coming up, and he said that little voice in your head or in your gut. Always listen to that voice. Don't ever question that voice. And I'm pretty convinced that, like, Jaden. There's, you know how you get on the phone with it and then that chick has like a super hot voice? His gut, I'm convinced, is like that chick versus mine is like 100-year-old smoker. Like, how about you go over there? And then Jaden's like, hey, how about you go over and, you know, throw that frog over there real quick. Yeah. So I think, you know, it's hard to listen to your gut.
Well, it is, but, you know, one thing that I always ask myself, so if I got to, you know, if I'm on a lake, I'm in a tournament, and I get that gut feeling, hey, man, I should go, you know, stop this, let's go over here, do this, whatever it may be. I ask myself, you know, because we all battle, like, man, should I really go, you know,
it's
man, but I'm here catching it, whatever. Am I going to be, at the end of the day, no matter how it turns out, am I going to be more upset that I didn't take that chance and listen to myself? Or if I stayed here, am I going to, you know, what am I going to regret more?
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, it's like, you got to listen to what your instincts are telling you.
For me, what's hard for me is distinguishing between a thought and a feeling.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, we have a tendency to overthink the sport. And I guess, for me, I just have a tough time turning my brain off sometimes. And when I do, that's when magic happens, right? But how do you get yourself to do that and then determine what's a thought or a feeling? Because I have a lot of feelings and thoughts throughout the day. You know what I mean?
I think you just got to, you know, there's a lot. You hear guys say it all the time. Just go fishing.
Yeah.
And really, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure some of the best days you've had are you had no idea what you didn't have a goal. You just went out to the lake.
Yeah.
You weren't going, oh yeah, I'm gonna go throw my new glide bait. I'm gonna go try to catch him on a jig, whatever. You just went fishing, and that's very hard to do.
It is, because we care.
But that's what learning at the level of these high school anglers, like my son and several other kids, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They don't.
They go fish.
They just go fish because it's fun. And a lot of times, especially the older I get and the more, I guess, seasoned or whatever, you get kind of beat down and kind of like it's not as exciting anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
So I try to get that mindset of it's a great opportunity. Like, I could still be delivering milk, which absolutely sucked. 100% sucked. So
I don't think it doesn't sound very fun.
Oh, dude, it was.
I mean, you had some ice cream bars in there, I bet.
Oh, I
like those.
Ice cream.
I'm a fan of those.
The whole thing. Didn't have to pay for milk. Didn't have to pay for orange juice, cheese. I mean, there was a lot of benefits.
Right.
Especially with young kids. But, yeah, no, it sucked.
Compared to bass fishing? Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes you really got to step back and go, this ain't too bad.
Yeah.
You know, and fishing is fun.
Oh, it's so fun.
You know, and you asked me, like, if I watch TV and stuff. What I'm getting really kind of infatuated with is these stupid crappie.
Really?
These things are driving me nuts, man. Even with Live Scope.
Yeah.
I haven't figured out on the lakes in California I could catch them. On these lakes, I can't catch them. I don't know why. They're driving me. I catch them, but they're like that big. They're like 4 inches.
Dude, it's
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't either. And it's funny you say that.
It's in my head.
Yeah.
Like, when I get home from this, I'm going crappie fishing because they've mentally got in my head.
I got a funny story about that. So I live
Driving
on
me
a
crazy, dude.
dirty water lake, and the crappies are huge. So when the bass start to move the rock piles, we'll catch 14, 15-inch crappies on DT10s and 3/4-ounce chatterbaits.
Really?
Yeah. I would catch 2 or 3 in a day, right? And I'm like, man, these are nice crappies. So I told myself, I'm actually going to go out and try to catch some of these crappies.
Yeah.
Didn't catch a single one.
See?
I don't know how to catch them.
No, dude, I'm
like,
serious.
what?
So I see these guys at Little Lake Jackson. That's the lake closest to my house, but it's small.
Yep.
And I went there with my crappie stuff. Even got some Berkeley power bait crappie nibbles.
Okay. Yeah.
Secret.
Yeah.
All this crap, right? Tied up fresh leaders, 4-pound line. I mean, I'm dialed.
Got the spider rigs going yet?
No, I didn't have that.
Okay. Well,
Dude, I caught like 2, and they were like that big. I pull up to the ramp, and I'm like, whatever, man. This sucks. I mean, defeated.
yeah.
This guy over here pulls up in a pontoon. He's got like 150 crappie in there, like 6 guys on the boat. And I'm like, what? He's like, oh, dude, yeah. I'm like, what'd you catch him on? Oh, little fish, little. Like, what the? I don't. It drives me crazy, dude.
It's a weird deal. Small,
And I love to eat them,
Oh, they taste.
but I can't catch them.
that makes me think about smallmouth, like fall to winter transition smallmouth up north. Like they'll eat a big bait, they'll eat a tube, and then all of a sudden they don't.
Yeah.
And it's like ice fishing. And this year was the first year we had open water to see that transition, where I went from catching them to not catching them. And like when we catch them through the ice, the only thing we can seem to catch them on is a little tungsten jig and a little pink like bug of some sort. So I'm almost convinced.
The smallmouth?
Yeah, that's all we could get them on. So it was like, if I was a bass fisherman and didn't know that, you'd feel like you sucked leaving that lake. But there seems to be a transition when their metabolism starts to slow down and they get in that winter mode.
Really?
Where they just want little easy meals to keep them alive throughout the winter, it seems like.
So that's interesting you just said that, because there was a tournament at Escanaba.
Oh, that's a beautiful place.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, man.
And I was not in Little Bay. I was in the Bay over.
Big Bay.
Whatever. Yeah.
It's cleaner.
There's a ramp in the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's a fun place.
I go out there and I'm throwing a Gancraft glide bait.
Oh, geez.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like killing these, like packs of them coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, dude, I can win the freaking tournament right here. You know, I'm like excited. Okay. This was like the first day of practice or something.
Yep.
And it was that tournament where we had like 5 days or 4 days in a row canceled because of wind and all that. So basically a week later, right? I run over there, and it wasn't too bad, but I took a beating.
Bumping.
I took a beating.
Yeah, you weren't.
Go
they didn't
over
have
there.
Vexuses then.
No. And never had a bite on my glide bait, not one. That first day of practice, I don't even know how many I could have caught. Like almost every throw. Never had a bite.
That's crazy.
And I did it for like a long time, and I finally just picked up a tube and caught like 16, 18 pounds or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
you punted.
What happened? Is that the same thing you're talking about? Maybe
it might be. Smallmouth.
It was in the fall. And
Yep.
it was getting cooler and stuff. But I mean, I was like,
it seems early for that.
like tons of fish.
Were they still there? And they
No,
just weren't
I
biting?
couldn't find them.
So what I found on Bay de Noc is the day before the year prior on Bay de Noc, it took 25 or 26 to cash a check.
Yeah.
And it was same time of year, so I'm like, man, we need to bust them. Mm-hmm. And I could catch in practice on a tube, 19 to 22 pounds, no problem. But
You're fishing
I'm like,
deep?
I was fishing mid, when they pull up shallow,
Yeah.
I found kind of a few zones that they pull up on. And I'm like, dude, it's not enough. So I kept running, right? And then day before the tournament, I find, right off this island, you could tell the lake current was just hitting it right. Throw my swimmer up there, and I see the winning pack of fish there. And I immediately forget everything else that I figured out in practice, right? Mm-hmm. So we raced there, and I beat Austin Felix to that spot. And I'm like, ooh, this is a good spot. Felix wanted to be here, so he fishes,
So he lives up there, right?
He lives up in Minnesota, where I'm
yeah,
from, but he's a great smallmouth angler.
Yeah.
So, we beat him to the spot, and I'm sitting there, and I catch a 30-inch walleye, another 30-inch walleye. Didn't take a picture of either of them. I was so pissed off.
That was a big walleye.
Oh, giant. But two of the biggest ones I've ever caught in my life. Tournament morning. So that was a big fish area. Sat there for like an hour and a half and caught a 3.5 pounder. And I'm convinced that those fish, I think, move.
Just roam.
They just move. Yeah. Because them fish on Bay de Noc, I don't think they're as smart as like your sturgeon bay fish, from what I found. They seemed a lot dumber.
No, when you get around them, they bite.
On that place. That place is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, it seemed like more they moved. But I think like a smallmouth, if they're full, right? If they just ate a bunch of Gancrafts, like there ain't a lot more room in there for Gancrafts. So I think that's why that hair jig is such a player. It's an easy dinnerment. It's an easy meal, and they're opportunistic, and they're maybe not hungry, but that's so easy.
Yeah.
I think it's
love
an
throwing that
ease of
little hair
meal.
jig.
Oh, it's fun.
It's cool.
I got my best friend and tournament partner, he makes custom rods.
Yeah.
And he's been blowing up lately. He makes a 8-foot hair jig rod, and
8 foot.
I got it in my truck, dude.
I got a 6.5 or a 7.5.
Yeah,
that's what I throw.
So it's an 8-footer. It's got fly guides on top, and I mean, it increased. I was throwing a 7.6 prior to that, but I can huck it on those calm days where you're looking at 26 pounds and not catching 2 pounds.
Now, do you
that
throw
rod gets
you throw
it
a
done.
leader?
Yeah, 8-pound braid to 8-pound fluoro leader.
Really?
Yeah.
8-pound braid.
The lighter the braid, the more you load it up, the further it casts. So, I mean, 10 will work too. I'll just cast further than you with 8 is all. There's people who do.
You go 6-pound braid?
Cody? Yeah, there's some new
kidding.
braids coming out that you can get lighter. I've played with some of the lighter stuff and broke it. Like that.
Really?
That Suffix nano braid and that Berkeley nano fill. That nano braid was the best casting line I've ever seen. It just if it got nicked by a zebra mussel, you're done. So I stopped trusting it. So now I'm kind of back to playing around, but I don't know. I'm still learning.
I don't know.
Leader length, to me, you just can't have too long a leader because you're really
Right,
whipping that.
right.
And your stripper guide will absolutely
Yeah.
blue ball you. But that hair jig deal, that's been a secret up in our world for quite some time, I guess. When
Gotten exposed, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, Gussie let the cat out of the bag. But, I mean, if I want as much money as he did on it, I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
But Northland's making them now. You used to not be able to buy very good ones, but
Northland. Oh, yeah.
yeah, they got that good gummy hook in it now, just like the Smeltnator. And then Northland's really upped their game with their hooks and
Smeltnator.
yeah, that jig head Gussie won the
Oh,
classic.
yeah.
So Northland's making that now. And then their net heads and little baby football jigs are good too. So tell your purchasing guy they probably already got them. But yeah.
I don't need more tackle.
What?
What are you doing? I told you I have a problem.
Want some crack?
Now I'm going to be
You
like,
want some crack?
Yeah, now I'm going to be on
Yeah, you
tackle,
want
like
some
ordering
crack.
stuff.
Give it 5
This is
minutes.
crazy.
You want some crack?
I just need some more tackle. I'm about ready to go over to that show and probably buy some tackle.
Yeah. Do I need to? How we doing? You need to probably roll.
Hey, dude, it's noon.
Time flies when you're in the galaxy, sir. Welcome. It's a pleasure having you.
Galaxy.
Yeah, dude. We're in the 5th dimension right now, so time is not linear anymore.
Okay.
So you might still be on time with Daffrin, but you just tell him we talked about Vexus boats during the podcast, and I think he'll be just fine.
I'll just blame everything on you.
Do it.
Done.
I got thick skin, and I make a good punching bag, so
All right.
punch away.
I like it.
Actually, I think you'd knock me out with half a punch. I bet. Yeah,
We could try.
I wouldn't mess with you, Mr. Lintner.
We could try.
So, dude, this was a really fun conversation.
Yeah, it was.
I really appreciate
Fun.
you taking the time.
Yeah.
It means a lot, man.
No problem, man.
Yeah. You ever make it up to Minnesota?
All the time.
Well, call me anytime.
Yeah, that Leech Lake deal. I'm not going to fish the open, but I bet you they're going to expose some stuff.
They're going to expose some stuff. I'm really curious because the wind is going to be. I know a guy who can catch them no matter how windy it is, but the wind is going to determine how many guys catch them. Because it's hard to scope in that wind.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not talking about linear wind. We're talking about.
Oh, I know. I've been on Mille Lacs when it gets wind.
Yeah, dude.
It's not fun.
You'll pee blood.
Oh, yeah.
After the 4th day.
Oh, you need an air ride seat.
That's there's a little bit. They say boats don't win tournaments, but if it's bucking on leech, your chances of doing good are better in a Vexus boat.
It is. It makes such a difference. I mean, my back from delivering milk and then boat rides, dude, I thought I was going to have surgery. Seriously. And,
Yeah, I'm with you.
And now like we talked about, sometimes you get yourself in a bind because you don't check up
Right.
like you should.
That's so true. That's so true. So I guess we can kind of end on 2 questions. What's your favorite scope and lure? Because you don't seem to be, your follow the trend kind of guy. You maybe figured something out that's your own.
Man, really, I'm still kind of learning all that stuff. What I like to throw, but a lot of times I don't eat it, is a glide bait.
Okay.
You got to throw the little fishy, but I don't know. There's just something. I'd rather bomb an 8 or 10-inch glide bait out there, and
That's cool.
yeah.
So talk to me about that Gancraft glide, because I know Waypoint carries a lot of that stuff, and that's one I haven't picked up yet.
Gancraft
Is that it's a jointed claw, or
yeah.
how does what's unique about that bait in terms of I'm so new to the glide bait thing, dude.
So rivers. I mean, a lot of people make them now. Like it used to be there was only 1 or 2 companies that made them. S-Wave, and then the Gancraft's been out for several years now.
It has.
Yeah. So the action on it is similar, I guess, to a S-Wave. It turns a little more sharper, I'd say. Like darts a little more sharp.
Sure.
But I like the weight of it.
Gotcha.
So if you want to get a river C down, you got to weight it, or it does. It's like a real slow sink. And Gancraft does make one that will float as well.
Sure.
But the overall weight of it, and I like the colors of it too.
So they have a, what is it called, a slow sink or a faster sink that you like?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I just
more versatile. Count it down. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because I mean, glide baits are awesome, and for just like anything in fishing, when it first comes out, it's the deal, and then now it's just a tool.
Right.
Because I bought, where was I? I was at Toledo Bend, somewhere. I was at a tackle store, and I walk into this store, and they have this whole display of these glide baits I've never seen. I'm like, gotta have one. I'm like, again, like crackhead. So I paid $170 for a freaking glide bait, and I still haven't thrown it, but I have it. I'm waiting for the right time to throw it. I'll send you a picture of it.
That's a rabbit hole that I want to go down, but I simply just probably can't afford to go down.
No, it's stupid.
It's crazy.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's laying. I'll send you a picture when I get home. It's laying on my bench in my shop, out of the package. I haven't even tied it on.
I mean, it makes a nice
But I'm fishing Lanier
piece.
in a couple weeks, so I'm going to throw it.
Yeah, you were telling me about this non-scoping tournament you're fishing.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
So, Touring Anglers Association.
Okay.
There's a guy that's got some feedback from a lot of anglers. I'm pretty sure he fishes the Opens or maybe the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, something like that. He's been tournament fishing for a long time. He lives somewhere in Georgia, and his goal is to have pretty much a jackpot tournament for big money. So the investment on time is not going to be there because there's no practice. You get a 3 to 4 hour ride around, so you can't fish, but you could drive around the lake, graph or whatever. Mm-hmm. And there's no forward-facing sonar.
Interesting. Which Lanier, oh man, are they going to fill? How many guys have confidence without it on that lake now? It'd be interesting.
It is crazy. You almost have to, what they're going to do.
10 pounds might win.
No,
I'm just kidding. I seen them largemouth you showed me yesterday. You got a good shot at that one, bro.
There's some good ones in there. They developed some kind of capsule. Okay, so what they're going to do is because to get all these guys to remove. I mean, you got to cut wires. And take all this stuff off. So he developed a little capsule. So you're going to unscrew the connection for your live scope out of the back of the unit, and he locks it in this capsule. And then at the end of the tournament, you unlock it and you could plug it back in.
That's
so. But when Jaden and I were up there the other day, I'm sitting there, I'm like looking at him, I'm like, oh geez, why am I doing this? Because I can't do it in the tournament. So I had to take the graph off, so I wouldn't look at it.
Wow. And I bet it was weird. You realized how much you looked at it when you thought you did.
It's unbelievable
Uh-huh.
because you find yourself just like, and trust me when I say this, I'm not a big proponent like scoper. Like what's fascinating to me is these guys, a lot of anglers, and dude, they ain't doing nothing wrong. I mean, they're winning tournaments, and you got to do what you got to do. Their intention. They look at the schedule and they go, yep, I'm scoping. They don't even, anything else is not even in their thought process. Nothing. They back their boat in the water, park their truck, and they get in that boat and they idle until it's time, until it's dark.
Yeah.
Until it's dark in practice.
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, I know where the bait and the fish are at. And they go over there and they catch them. That's all they do.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to me that a lot of guys have that much confidence in technology and in what they see and their ability to catch them.
Yeah.
Like I talked to, I won't name this guy, one of the best guys ever to do this. I'm like, dude, you don't even practice, like you don't even throw at them? He goes, no, why? Like, how do you know they're gonna? First of all, how do you know they're bass? Could be trash fish, could be whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know how to tell. Okay.
They do. They do.
They do. 100%. Yeah. And I'm like, how do you know you can catch them? Well, dude, there's only they're gonna bite one of three things. So I tie on all three things, and they're going to bite one of those three. That's it. Done. That's all I need.
Are you talking about Patrick Walters by chance?
No.
Okay.
No.
But go ahead.
That's it. That's what he.
Yeah.
And he almost wins everything, all the time.
It's crazy. And
it's unbelievable.
Well, I talked to a guy who told me that how Patrick Walters practices, and I know Fothergill is
Mm-hmm.
very much so, like reliant on their high speed 2D in practice.
Right.
They'll drive I
Yeah.
found this out and it made so much sense after Patrick Walters will drive for 2 days of practice till he figures out where the bait's at in the lake.
Yep.
And then once he figures out where most of the bait is, he can do that at 40 miles an hour.
Yep.
That last day of practice,
Yep.
now he's on the trolling motor looking.
Well, see, now what they got
He's got the best area figured out.
is I'm sure you've seen they have the transducers mounted on a jack
the
plate.
side, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So these guys you can run up to, because they're well, pretty soon you're going to be able to run full speed, but these guys are doing the same thing you're talking about. They'll have one on each side of the jack plate, and they'll so let's say Table Rock Lake, okay, massive creeks, like creeks bigger than most lakes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You could spend a week in one creek arm. These guys will run through the creek at like 30 mile an hour. Nope, no bait. I'm out. Go to the next creek. Whereas you and I, or even before this, we'd pull into that creek and fish for 6 hours and go,
waste the day.
there ain't no fish in here.
Yeah.
Where's the bait? There's nothing here.
Yeah.
These guys, the time spent eliminating water is unbelievable. Like, you cut all the variables out. Like, it's
If they're more efficient, they're
Exactly,
gonna
100%.
that's how it works. Pat Schlapper was telling me, like, for boat positioning on those suspended fish too,
Yeah.
with them sides,
Oh,
like
yeah.
refining them, and then it's over there, loop the boat around downwind so you don't
there's a whole science to it. I mean,
I feel like they should maybe ban those.
it's they gotta, it's just like anything, like the Alabama rig.
Yeah.
We talked about. I think eventually it's got to be kind of there's got to be a limit or something. There's something got to be done.
I think, you can't ban it, right?
No,
but
no.
limiting the number of transducers, like in snowmobile racing,
Right.
this guy can't run
Right.
an 800cc while this guy's running a 440. Granted, this guy's big and this guy's small, so you'll never make it completely level. But if you limit the number of transducers total allowed, that to me...
Yeah, I mean, we got a cap on horsepower rating.
Right.
We got, a cap on the length of a rod. We got a cap on, there's several different things. How many lures you could throw at the same time, all this stuff.
Right.
Eventually, I think it's got to get there. But, again, I stick to what I said earlier about, just because I don't like to do it, I don't think they should ban it.
Right, I'm with you.
It's the same thing what we talked about with Denny, when he was dominating flipping a black and blue jig. You don't just ban flipping in general because you don't like it.
Right.
This guy doesn't like it. He likes throwing his Carolina rig. He doesn't like flipping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, let's ban it. You can't do that.
I agree.
You either got to get on board or get off, and that's where I'm having a hard time right now because it's not fun to me to go out in the middle of the lake.
Hey guys, Gaff with Waypoint Angler Supply here. Just wanted to highlight the fact that we have the big bass resource right here. Obviously, everybody in Minnesota knows about Kitex and the littler swim baits like these bait labs here. But we're here to have the big baits here in the store. We got Huddlestons, we've got the dangerous swim baits, the jointed claw glide baits, and the bull shooter glide baits. But it's not only the baits. We've got big rods, big reels, big line, and all that good stuff for you guys to go ahead and chase your biggest fish of your life. So swing on into Waypoint Angler Supply and get hooked up with the biggest tackle around.
Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help guide you through the entire mortgage process, from pre-qualification to closing. They have a wide variety of home loan programs in their tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time homebuyer options. Just ask me. I trusted Aaron Dagas, a bass fisherman just like you and me, and Supreme Lending's Dream Team to help finance my first home. Contact Aaron Dagas and the Dream Team today by scanning the QR code or giving them a call at 763-326-0677. That's 763-326-0677. Did I catch a 7 in there? Or visit their website, aarondages.supremelending.com. That's AARONDAEGES.supremelending.com.
But it's also not fun not to get
Not getting your teeth kicked in's
exactly
fun too. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a yeah.
I'm curious how long that minnow deal is going to do it, because eventually, they're going to not eat that, I would think. Or eventually, it's going to be 20 years from now.
What the other issue with it is from and I don't know the exact numbers at all, but I would assume that all the retailers and places that sell fishing tackle, this whole thing's all the tackles being sold as jig heads and minnows.
I know, and I love throwing a crank.
And you.
I love throwing a little flat side down the bank.
We can go on tackle right now. I guarantee you they don't.
Can get any crankbait you want.
All the crankbait is right there. So, how does that affect, lure manufacturers?
I hope they still make them, because I really like them crankbaits.
Yeah. But that's what I'm getting at is, is it good for the industry as a whole?
Right.
I'm still going to throw them. Yeah. I got stuff that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still throwing. Well, that Tyler Williams kid is still winning on a jig. He's scoping Lintner style, dude.
Yeah,
so,
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
I seen that and I was like, dang, dude.
Yeah, white jig and a green pumpkin. Actually, he's from Maine, so no accent, but.
Yeah, he is from Maine, huh?
Yeah, I think he's the first guy from Maine. He's kind of a likable dude.
Yeah. No, he's. Yeah,
I respect it. Yeah. Top 10 and without a jig head minnow, and probably the only guy who's been throwing jigs the whole time.
I like that.
Me too. So that tells me You don't have to, right? You don't have to.
You don't have to, but it's
Might make life easier, though,
Yes.
if you did.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
well, I got one last question before you probably got plenty of autographs to sign today.
Yeah.
Do you believe in aliens?
Do I believe in aliens?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's some stuff that's unexplainable.
Why don't you think so? I mean, I know you've been looking in the sky at night and on that back porch of yours that you just got the bees away from. It's pretty big up there.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. So you're telling me you don't think nothing's out there?
I don't think so.
Really?
I think there's more of a chance of a Bigfoot than an alien.
Really? I don't know if I believe in Bigfoots, but I believe in aliens.
You do?
Yeah, I don't know how there couldn't be. Every star you look at out there is a sun. Like that sun that gives us a burn.
Right.
Every star we look up there there's an endless amount of suns, and you can't tell me that there ain't a planet spinning around one of those stars that's got something living on it. Heck, I bet you could bass fish on at least 1,000 different planets. It's endless, dude. It's an endless galaxy out there. Like, how couldn't there be is my perspective. But, we could be living in a simulation, and you could be totally right.
Huh. I think you got a lot of downtime in Minnesota in the winter, don't you?
Dude, winter sucks, and we got to do something, right?
Because you're thinking about aliens.
Hey, dude, we got to keep it light. We got to keep it fun.
I can see your point of view. I don't know. I'm not saying 100% yes or no either way.
Same.
I don't know.
I got more questions than answers, as you know.
But I would side with Bigfoot over aliens.
I got you. Yep. You're more the scientific method type. I like that.
I mean, have you not seen Harry and the Hendersons?
Mm-mm. What's that?
That's a great movie.
Okay.
It's an old school movie.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, it's about Bigfoot.
Okay, cool. Hey, show me a Bigfoot. I'll believe it.
I don't like a nasty, mean Bigfoot.
Like a nice Bigfoot.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some crazy stuff going on in the woods. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, and who even knows what's in the ocean? We haven't even explored all of that.
That's crazy, dude.
10%. 10% is all.
We've only explored 10%
Of what?
the ocean.
Really?
Yeah. There's probably aliens living just here in the
Here
ocean.
we go with the aliens again.
He doesn't like that. Okay.
No, I mean, there's probably alien. I mean,
Didn't the government? I think the government admitted they're aliens. So that's what made me not believe it, because you never believe nothing the government tells you. But
the government admitted there is?
Mhm. Yeah, they released documents, which makes me question it more. I was like, why are you telling us this now? And that tells me there's some, it doesn't necessarily mean they're real. If the government tells you something's real, it doesn't mean it's real.
Flip over here. Stop looking at this.
Yeah, like
They're baiting you. They're bait and switch.
yeah. Like that smallmouth on a bed, you throw that swim bait over it, get it real pissed off, and then that drop shot's just dangling there. Done deal.
What's your favorite smallmouth bedfish bait?
Oh, I mean,
Drop shot.
A drop shot. Yep, and a 1-2 with a drop shot and a dark sleeper.
Dude, that dark sleeper, they eat it. If I hook 10, 9 of them are coming off. I hate that thing.
I hate it more. It's strictly an agitator.
Then why'd
for me.
you? Oh, okay.
You
try not to hook them.
Well, yeah. For the most part, I just try to piss them off
Gosh,
with it
dang,
because
man.
it gets down in the nest and it seems to create an aggravating response from them. So if I pitch my drop shot on that bed and that thing's kind of just not hot on it, I'll pick up that thing and try and hit it on the head with it, and it seems to.
The little dark sleeper.
Yeah, like half or 3/4. In the the green with the white belly and the blue stripe, that's the magic
I hate
color.
them.
Same.
You lose them.
Yeah.
You want an agitator? Throw a dang Toro tube on it.
A Toro tube. Never heard of
A
it.
smallmouth.
Huh. What's
What?
a Toro tube? The tube is my favorite lure in the land, and I haven't heard of a Toro tube.
So you get a 11-aught beast hook
big tube. White one?
with a 1 ounce weight.
Uh-huh.
And you got a tube that big.
That's why I haven't heard of it.
And you
Freaking
flip
tuna
that
tube.
sucker out there on that.
That's like an Ishmael. That's like...
Yeah. It's a California thing.
Okay. Noted.
They get pissed.
Well, I love a tube, so I would love to have a tube work better.
Well, the
than
other
something
thing
on
you
a
could
bed.
do is so you don't use any weight, and you just flip it out there, and when it fills with water,
Oh, then it sinks.
dude, it's freaking crazy.
Huh. Noted. I like it too.
So some of the swim bait guys in California, back when it was when it was going crazy, and everybody's coming out Castaic and blah blah blah. I mean, the list went on and on and on. They would throw that Tora tube like a swim bait, because like I said, when it
reeling it?
yeah, oh yeah, you'd put a hook, so you'd Texas rig it, either a little tiny weight or no weight, and then you'd run a stinger with a treble, like towards the back.
Yeah.
And you throw it out there and you wind it, and because when it fills with water, it's
like a
you
salmon
could
lure.
never get it to do the same thing twice. Does that
Sure.
make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
So you just be winding it, and it didn't have a tail, obviously.
Yeah.
So it didn't have the
Right.
Dude, and they freaking mowed him.
Well, you don't see a fish do blah blah. They don't swim. They're more like
Yeah, no, they're all over the place. Yeah,
weightless tube is something I should get back to, because as a kid I used to smash them just fishing a weightless tube like
Yeah.
a fluke,
Yeah,
and then fill
yeah.
it up with water and all.
exactly. Yeah, same thing.
I don't throw it no more.
So the last time, where was I at? I was somewhere up north. I forget where I was at. Anyway, I had one in my rod locker I was sight fishing somewhere. Anyway, dude, it's a great freaking musky bait.
That Toro tube. I was gonna say.
They freaking bite it.
Noted. Huh.
They bite it.
That's
The
crazy.
problem is you break them off, because I didn't have steel eaters or anything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're sponsored by Jackal, right?
Yep.
What's what's your favorite Jackal lure? Like low key.
Low key?
Well, what's your favorite, and then is there a sleeper that people don't seem to buy that's a
dude,
killer?
So two of my ultimate confidence baits, for years and years and years, has been the Jackal Bling. So it's like a flat side.
Yeah.
That thing, they stopped making it, and then they brought it back because
Yep.
everybody was complaining about it, and I hoarded a bunch. And the TN70, so lipless crankbait.
Yep.
I have them tied on everywhere I go.
I haven't figured that bling out.
What?
Dude, well, I'm no Jared Lintner. Let's make that clear.
Well, it's not a good grass. Like if you're fishing around
Well, that's
grass,
probably my first problem.
It's not good around grass because of the way the bill is. It just snags.
Yep.
So rocks and stuff. Dude, I blasted them at Mille Lacs on it last time I was there.
Really?
Yeah, freaking caught them.
For whatever reason, I feel like I reach for a
like
silent
Kodak.
one instead of the bling.
They bite that.
Cool. Noted. Okay.
Yeah, so those two ultimate, that's my go-to deals.
Yeah.
The one bait I'll say is a little sleeper that doesn't it kind of got some hype, but then now nobody talks about it, is that dang pompadour. You throwing that thing?
I got two.
Dude, that thing gets bit. Dude.
I've heard. I got a buddy that loves that lure.
it
I
gets
quit
bit.
throwing it, but
Why?
I'm not anymore, because you and my buddy told me I'm an
That
idiot
thing,
for not throwing it.
That thing gets bites.
There's so many damn topwaters to throw. Where does it, you know what I mean? You got your buzz bait, a shower blow. You got, a walking bait, a popper, a prop bait. And now you got a pompadour. Now you got a baby bird crawling on the surface. When do you pick up what? That is, for me, I'm not intimate with topwaters. So I pick up my most confident topwaters when I pick one up, which is a shower blow or that IMA.
Skimmer?
A skimmer.
Yeah.
Or, no, the shower blow type IMA.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
I almost like that one more than a shower blow.
Yeah.
And then I like a Yellow Magic popper or a more bloopy one, whatever whenever one bloops, and then whatever one does the bloops. And then I like a prop bait, when they eating those two.
Okay.
And then I like a buzz bait because I can cover a lot
So
of
you
water.
like them all?
I like them all, but if we're talking confidence, I haven't thrown the pompadour enough to develop that confidence where I want to pick it up. That's why.
So what I would say then is,
when does a guy throw it? There's a magic window for things, right?
Spawn, post spawn.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
What I learned with that bait is, for whatever reason, it'll get you. Like if you went down a stretch of bank, okay, with your popper.
Yep.
Let's just say that, and they're biting topwater. You might catch 5 fish, okay, and whatever. You come back through, or same bank. You go through that with that pompadour, you might only catch 2, but they're bigger than all those other fish. It's a big fish bait.
Noted. Okay.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like
I haven't caught small ones.
I don't catch little ones.
Right.
Like, I mean, I have. But if I get bit on that, it's usually the right ones.
Sure.
Like, they're big.
Sure.
They all, like, doesn't matter where I've been. I've caught them from Florida to California, St. Lawrence River. I caught them everywhere on that thing.
So
and they're big.
Yeah. So is it kind of a follow-up topwater bait for you after you've gone through an area, or are you just picking it up and grab a big one now?
I mean, if I'm in a 5-fish format, that's what I'm going with.
Cool.
I mean, it's not I wouldn't go out like on a long extended point, like where you'd throw a walking bait.
Right. Sure.
But going down the bank, throwing around laydowns,
Rock cover.
freaking stumps, grass lines. God dang, dude.
Noted.
Dude, they bite that thing.
Do you like the big or the small one better?
I
I got one of each.
If I'm going to throw one, I'm going to throw the big one. Why would I throw the small one?
I got the small one thinking I could catch some smallmouth on it a little easier.
They eat the big one.
I believe it. Just hookup. How's a hookup? I mean, good.
Freaking great.
Yeah, I believe you, man. I believe you. I ain't arguing. I don't know.
Crack them.
All right. I'm going to throw the pompadour more.
You better.
You convinced me.
You better.
Yep.
Yeah, you like winning tournaments.
Well, now that you let it out, everyone's me throwing the pompadour.
Dude, that thing, it's a sleeper bait. It really is. Like
That's
when it came out, it got some love, and then now nobody really talks about it. I know one angler that's low key, like it's tied on all the time, and he's sponsored by competitive companies, and he freaking catches them on it.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jared Lintner, you got to sign some autographs. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Okay, it's 12:30 already.
Yeah, dude. That's why I got you. That's why I said. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are a star in the galaxy now.
As long as there's no aliens in there.
No. Well, it's what you make it. It's been an intergalactic time. I really appreciate it, dude.
Awesome.
Be rooting for you this year.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
Curious how that non-scoping tournament goes. So
I'll let you know.
all right, dude. Thanks, Jared.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, checking in, checking out.